Okay, here we go with video 2, and we are going to cover transition and packet pickup here. And I know most of you are probably familiar with our transition area protocols and our bike drop-off on June 4th on Friday, and I feel your pain. I know it's a hassle, but we really felt we had to do this to be as safe as possible. It's a one-time thing. We're not going to do it again, and this is just to make sure that everybody goes home without a virus. So when we were making this decision, originally we contemplated closing the transition area completely on Saturday morning, but felt that was a little bit of overkill. But we had some considerations to take into account, and one is socially distancing. We're working with a relatively small footprint for our transition area at the Pines Resort, and we have to spread out our bike racks as best we can. We have to reduce the amount of people on our bike racks as best as we can, and we're going to try and do that, but because of the small footprint, we can't do it as much as we'd like. We don't have, let's say, a football field to put our bike racks in. We felt the best thing to do was to have everybody rack their bike on June 4th and then limit our transition area to about 5 minutes a visit on race morning. So one of the first things that is required is you must wear a mask in the transition area. If you have a personal mask that you think is really badass, by all means you can wear it in the transition area. You will have a mask, a disposable mask in your bag that you can then wear that when you leave the transition area to go to the swim staging line. But regardless, whenever you're in the transition area, you must be wearing a mask and you must be wearing it properly. Bike pickup or the bike drop-off and packet pickup is on Friday, June 4th from 3 till 10 p.m. If you cannot make it on June 4th from 3 until 10 p.m., let us know. I can have somebody meet you at the transition area at midnight if necessary. So we are not going to allow any bikes to be racked on race morning. If you come with your bike expecting to be accommodated, that might be an incorrect assumption. It's not fair to everybody else. It's not fair to your fellow athletes. We need to have everybody follow the procedures exactly the same. Additionally, we are sold out, and we do not have any more bike numbers, and we do not have any more rack space. There are people who want to get into this race, and it's quite possible that we may be giving away numbers Friday night at 10 o'clock for those who want to race in the morning. So it is to your best interest to rack your bike on Friday so you know that you will be racing. Okay, so when you get to packet pickup or the transition area on June 4th between 3 and 10, if you are an annual USAT member, you will have to have an ID and your USAT card. You will need to show them to the volunteer admitting you into the transition area. Once you get into the transition area, then you will see bags with race numbers on them dropped off at racks throughout the transition area. They will be in numerical order, 1 to 550. And all you need to do is find where your bag is, and then that will be your rack. If you're not an annual USAT member, then you will need to have an ID, and that's all, and you'll be fine. You may not pick up your packet or rack somebody else's bike. You have to come yourself. There are a number of people who have not signed waivers. It would be much more convenient if you were to download the waiver off the website and then email it to me. That way you won't have to sign it when you get there on Friday. But if you have not signed it, you will be required to sign a waiver before you're admitted into the transition area. So once you get to your transition area where your bag is, you'll find that everything that you need to race is in that bag. Safety pins, your chip, your race t-shirt, your bib numbers, athlete instructions, everything that you would, your swim cap, everything that you would normally get at packet pickup will be in that bag. So go ahead and make sure it's all there and set up your rack and get ready for your race the next morning. We will have security in the transition area all night long, so your equipment will be safe. Now, moving on to race morning. First of all, obviously, you've been getting everything you need to race in your bag. So make sure that, for example, you wear your chip to the race on race morning. So we are not going to allow everybody into the transition area just to hang out. What we're allowing is that you may go into the transition area for about 5 minutes, check on your tires, make sure your area is set up correctly the way you want it, and then you can exit the transition area at that point. We're only going to allow 100 people in the transition area at a time on race morning. So by necessity, your visit to your transition area needs to be quick. I would urge everybody to warm up at your car. You bring your warm-up shoes and everything else you need and warm up at your car and complete your race preparations there, and obviously leaving your transition area all set up and ready to race. Now, I've been involved at World Championships where you couldn't even go in the transition area on race morning. So I know it's possible, I know it's not convenient, for which I apologize, but in terms of our choke point, the place where we are going to be most crowded, the transition area, we are going to follow this procedure. And then finally, after the race, finish the race, there will be masks at the finish line. Grab a mask, put the mask on. When you get into the transition area, grab your stuff, and then transport it to your car, and we'll see you after the race. So I appreciate everybody's patience with this, and again, I apologize, it's not convenient, but I also think that it's the safest that we can do and we can be for our race. So good luck, and our next video will be the swim video.